Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I am Duffy Duck here once again. And I'm Piglet here. We are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we have managed to go through day 13 all the way up to day 15, despite the fact that in day 14 we managed to done some shopping trip at one point. And during day 13, we managed to able to have a rematch against with King Boo in this time around in Giant Slalom. And then during day 15, despite we did ourselves a massive loss on that very close game at curling, but at least even then though, we did manage to face off against with Eggman Neko on that day. And today, we're about to begin the forms of day 16 for today's video, and probably we will wrap things up with the singles festival mode while going through, day 16 as you can see, all the way up to the final day, which is of course day 17, where the closing ceremony is about to happen. So, but anyways, here we go, we've got ourselves the one Olympic event here, and not only that, we also get ourselves the forms of two new Dream events, which there are Dream Figure Skating as well as the awesome event of all time, which appears to be Dream Snowboard Cross. So, yeah, because of that though, as you can see, it's still snowing in the forms of the Olympic event, as you can see, but don't worry though, that we are able to actually come across into that. I have no idea what I'm trying to say for this point right about now, because, well, obviously we're just able to actually just to jump right into the first event here on day 16, which is of course, half pipe. Okay, quicker right there, because we need to get a lot of practice on this event, so yeah, just in case we need to claim ourselves a nice little gorgeous gold medal, because just like the forms of how it does it in the previous videos ago, sometimes it takes a while to get used to with some of those events potentially, so hopefully by that time it's all in Team Festival mode, then we're probably not going to do that ever again when it comes to keep on practicing and stuff. So anyways, let's get into the forms of the half pipe event here. So basically we've done this before, but except now we need to aim for about, I would say for about 40 points at minimum. But then again though, the only catch is about this event though is the fact that if you really want to get yourselves more points due to the forms of the landing combo, well, best to show if you're able to actually done it, or if you've done enough of those tricks potentially. Well, we did manage to did this on the first attempt, because this is the second attempt for able to do this event, because on the first attempt off screen we keep on messing things up when it comes to launching ourselves in midair, because as a result we keep on getting good rather than great. So yeah, as a result of that kinds of stuff though is the fact that this will able to be the much more better attempts than before, at least we're expecting so. And since after all we didn't get a new record sadly, but at least we claimed first place potentially. Yeah, since we did manage to beat Vector the Crocodile pretty much, so even then we'll take our glorious gold medal indeed. So yeah, I think, potentially speaking, this will be the last Olympic event for the singles festival mode, basically, because we'll still come across into more of them during the forms of in-team festival, pretty much. So even then, we'll come across into one of those missing events that we've not actually come across into at some point in this Friday. So either way, not much else has been talked about for this point, guys, apart from the fact that how recently Tiana has been mentioned during the forms of her Let's Play of Kirby's Adventure Wii / Kirby's Return to Dreamland for those who lived in North America. Basically, that we got ourselves the biggest event ever tomorrow, which appears to be by the forms of the Super Smash Bros. Direct. So, really looking forward to it though. Yeah, me too. Especially noticeable how the fact that we can't wait to see what the fifth DLC fighter will be. Yeah, especially after waiting for about quite a long time actually, ever since during the forms of, well, despite with the disappointing Game Awards 2019 basically. So now we get ourselves a proper look on that fifth DLC fighter until tomorrow. But then again, I think we'll let Tiana will mention more onto that in during of her continuation Let's Play of Kirby's Adventure basically. So here we go on to Dream Figure Skating here. In this case, it takes place in Dream Figure Center. And as you can see, from the get-go, you can actually choose between the Mario world or the Sonic world. For us though, I think we should probably do the opposite fashion way this time around, because you remember in the Forms of Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games Let's Play that we did most likely select Mario's first, because I kind of prefer Mario's Figure Skating Spectacular in Sochi 2014, because despite you can able to play as Bowser on that specific event, and in that way you can able to see two Bowsers on screen, which is pretty crazy kind of thing about it. Despite with, you know, the false Bowsers on screen, because you know in Super Mario 3D Land, then you more likely know for that point. And as far as Sonic's Figure Skating Spectacular and Sochi 2014, it was alright. I mean, nothing amazing though, but at least in this game in particular, that we're able to actually mention about that and doing right about now. So in this case, that just like the Forms of Sochi 2014 or before Sochi 2014, that we usually takes place in the forms of 3 different phases during the forms of the actual figure skating performance. Such as like, for instance, in Sonic World, as you can see right there, despite we got ourselves Silver and Dr. Eggman on screen, and also Mario and Bowser as well. So yeah, this could be very cool looking, especially noticeable until at the ending sequence, as far as I like to say. And because of that though, if you remember from the normal figure skating, basically you know exactly how this plays out, except the noticeable difference is the fact that the actual music is actually based off from, doesn't matter what world you're in, like either Sonic's world or Mario's world. So yeah, basically in this first part right there, it obviously takes place in Green Hill Zone, and for whatever reason they just got the Sonic Heroes instrumental music as such. But now we're gonna go on to the forms of the Death Egg Zone, which apparently has some sort of a remakes of that specific Dr. Eggman's theme from Sonic Adventure, which I think it totally makes it obvious, because as you can see, the entire objective on this particular world is that, or this particular performance, is that we need to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds until the 3rd and final performance. So, and there's something really epic happens until after this sequence has been done. Because you know, unlike in Sochi 2014, it usually inspires heavily based off from Sonic colors, like you face off against with rotation at the end. But here, if you manage to get yourselves all 7 Chaos Emeralds after dealing out with the Egg Flipper, something real interesting will start to happen in during right about now. So yeah, apparently we ended up in Deserted Station Square. Oh, I know what it is. Perfect Chaos! But this time he was actually in ice formed. So yeah, this is probably my favorite in terms of the actual Dream Figure Skating of how this game offers us to, because we're able to actually start off with the most epic moment. It's that we're going to be spinning around while the Chaos Emeralds are about to gather around, and we become super forms. Well, despite that, Silver does not even transform into himself into Super Silver, unlike Sonic 06, that the only time he uses that is to deal with Solaris at the end. But that's for the entire different game, and plus Sonic Adventure was actually a much more definitive experience, unlike Sonic 06, but still. But generally speaking, that was the first time ever that Mario and the gang did manage to deal out with perfect chaos for the first time, which I think that really does manage to bring us to the forms of the most highlighted things when it comes to fan service alike, which I do appreciate about that stuff, potentially. So either way, and also as you can tell, that particular background music is actually Open Your Heart instrumental theme, which is really awesome. And at the end, Perfect Chaos will seemingly explode after when we pose, and, well, voila, what an epic conclusion at the end. Yeah, probably the definition of the highlight of the forms of this particular dream event, basically, because it's so awesome to go through. And yeah, unlike the Forms of Sochi 2014 version of that particular event, is that you can either do it on competitive single-player individual match, or you can able to play with your friend while going through team-based. Whilst in this, it's just basically it's all team-based heavy, because, well, you know, you probably figure to see how this will turn out. So, there we go. We got ourselves our first medal, basically, so that way we could able to move on to the next event. So even then, as you can see, we got Dream Figure Skating unlocked and also the emblem itself as well. However though, let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, Piglet. Oh, what's that, Duffy? Do you remember by the forms about the fact that the next event we're going to be jumped onto, or especially the final event for day 16, which appears to be probably the best event in the entire game, and also the entire series as well. That is Dream Snowboard Cross. Now, do you remember in Sochi 2014 Let's Play of this? That's, usually this takes place in Mushroom Bridge from Mario Kart Double Dash, which I found was pretty okay, at best, but nothing compares to the forms of the most epic, the epic stage to able to fit on for that specific Dream event. And as you can see, it takes place in Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2. Which I will say, I am really pumped up for this, especially noticeable how the fact that we can able to sled down, and unlike the forms of Sochi 2014 counterparts of that specific event, that, in Sochi 2014 we need to go through a loop within a lapse, whilst in here we need to go all the way down to the linear course, which is actually, in my opinion, probably the coolest part about this event. And here we go! God, the music is so good. Especially noticeable how the fact that we always attempt to able to listen to that every single time ever since back in 2010, I believe, from our own time. And my goodness, it is such an amazing theme. Yeah, especially noticeable how the fact that I kind of wish if that will be the case in just making it HD in Sochi 2014, but even then though, it has to swap a bit in the Mario stage basically, so... But I digress. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. It's just, pretty cool to see the actual Radical Highway in a snowboard fashion. So yeah, you never hope the fact that we're pretty much going to be almost nearly towards the end of day 16, basically. However, though, there's one particular event that has been, well, slightly missing to the table by the forms of individual, singles festival mode, and that appears to be by the forms of Dream Ski Cross. And what's the best thing about this event, though, compared to the rest, is that, although, don't get me wrong, we enjoyed those Dream events, basically. Well, some exceptions, which is specifically Dream Gliding, because I found it very difficult to control, and, usually because of this particular event we're going to be, exploring on, thankfully, this event does manage to unlock from the get-go, just like Dream Ski Cross. So, because the majority of those Dream events needs to be unlocked throughout the forms of festival mode. Or, alternatively, you can able to actually replay a multitude of events multiple times until you're able to unlock certain Dream events, because I managed to come across into one of those emphasis on before, but either way though, we're not going to do that method, because it might be pretty tedious at points. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say with this event, basically. And I'm very glad that we can able to revisit this event time and time again, because this is epic. I can't help it for myself about the fact that how much joy this event can be. And obviously, the only hazards you need to worry about is, of course, Eggman's robots from the likes of Sonic Heroes, because I say that because, well, despite the fact that the only enemies in Sonic Adventure 2 that you actually come across into a lot of times is, of course, some gun robots and stuff like that. But apparently, we get swapped by the forms of Eggman's swap bots or anything like that. But who knows, whatever, because either way though, that, it's pretty obvious for that point. And to top it off, we got ourselves a glorious new record. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So either way, and also you notice on that specific red gate bridge that we come across into, just like the forms of the original Sonic Adventure 2 stage, that you can able to do that. So yeah, it's pretty cool though. And I think in order to actually get the emblem on this event is that I'm pretty sure that you do need to grind on the rails for a certain amount of distances, if I recall correctly. So no, we can't be bothered to take a break or anything like that, for goodness sake. So anyways, let's do a jump cut, and then we'll show off that specific missing event on that specific playthrough. Okay, so we did jump cut for this point because we'll give us the honorable mention to that specific playthrough, and that is Dream Ski Cross. Now, as you can see on that bottom part of the screen, it takes place in Mario Circuit, based off from Mario Kart Wii. Yeah, kind of think about it because of the actual visuals and everything. And also, despite the fact that we still got Bowser Jr. and now it's been, now we still got Amy and everything, but the ones we have not got is of course Metal Sonic throughout the festival mode, because just like Sochi 2014, that most of these computer players can be selected randomly. In fact, that's the second time Metal Sonic joins in onto these actual single match modes and stuff like that. Kind of think about it. Yeah, it seems weird. Okay, another jump cut for this point right there, because, well, we'll jump right in during right about now. So, basically, if you're familiar with Dream Ski Cross, it plays exactly like how it did on Dream Alpine, except the notable difference now is the fact that we're no longer gonna have to worry about the gates. So, yeah, the only time we can able to just win the medal is by simply going around in the course within 2 laps. So, self-explanatory stuff and all that stuff, so yeah, that's not much else commented on that. So, and the reason why we have to do a multitude of jump cuts for this point in this event right here, because if you do not know, this is actually the 3rd attempt for that specific event. It's nothing, it's like difficult or anything, it's just that the only trickiest part about this event, for me anyway, is the fact that the computer players are actually slightly good at this event, which I have no idea why that we're having so much trouble on that specific skiing event, specifically in Dream Alpine and now Dream Ski Cross, despite the fact that we not actually come across into this event in during the likes of been a singles festival, because unlike team festival modes that were pointed out in during at some point in, let's just say, a few more Mondays and Tuesdays, and, well, not Tuesdays, because Tiana is still carrying on doing Kirby's Return to Dreamland and all that stuff. But most likely is the forms of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, potentially, that most of the time, though, we always have to come across into that some situations like so. But I digress though, so either way, hopefully things get a little bit more better than before, because despite the fact that we have to retry that particular event multiple times off screen, so, because one attempt we somehow managed to lose completely by Amy Rose, because Amy Rose got a very, very good speed, just ahead of us, and as for the second attempt though, oh man, we keep on getting knocked over by the forms of not only Piranha Plants, the most annoying flowers, and it's also the Goombas laying around as well. So, but I digress though. But obviously this takes place in Mario Kart Wii's Mario Circuit, because you can tell with that specific Peach's Castle design, but except a notable difference now is the fact that rather than doing it on the road, as you can see we are doing it on the snow. So, because it's obvious, because it's a Winter Olympics kind of thing, so... Something's worth mentioning though, and we got a new record though, just for the sake of honorable mentions when it comes to some of this stuff that you have not seen before, so... And there we go, I think that pretty much takes care of any singular event, specifically on Team, well, specifically rather, the Singles Festival event has to offer. So either way, pretty cool selection, I gotta tell you. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, you know, it's kind of like the exactly, well, I don't know how do I truly explain about that, potentially speaking, because... well, we're actually getting pretty close towards the end of the singles festival mode. So, anyways, let's head back onto... shut up. Anyway, we did a jump cut right there on the actual loading screen right now, because obviously we did show off some of those events now. So, yay! Looks like day 16 is being fully completed. And what? How come the rival appears on an even number of days? Oh, wait a minute, we got another rival now, and this time it's going to take place in ice hockey. What's the meaning of this? Holding a tournament without my permission? I won't have it. I'll show you the power of my minions. Okay, so we actually compete against with Dry Bowser of all things in ice hockey, so... yeah, because I think that was before when Sochi 2014 that we need to face off against with him, along with Rouge and Eggman Nega in Winter Sports Champion race. But now this basically takes place in ice hockey. So as for teammates, we got Mario, Bowser, and Vector. So once again, we'll let Mario be controllable as computer players, and then we're able to control Vector and Bowser. Although we could potentially try to let Bowser to be a goalie, but however though, we'll just do it that way, because both Vector and Bowser are the power types basically, so let's get to it. So as you can see, in addition with Dry Bowser, he also did manage to send out 3 Dry Bones throughout the team, because I'm pretty sure that he's always going to be the goalie Dry Bowser is, because as far as those 3 Dry Bones are, they're going to be most likely just to control the actual, the hockey sticks and all that stuff. So, you know what's kind of funny is the fact that we're actually going to be selecting Bowser for our team, despite the fact that he was actually part of a separate player. So even then though, he actually going to be competed against with his own self in skeleton form, which is kind of weird kind of thing about it though, which kind of happens the same thing on, you know, for the majority of all the games basically. So either way, yeah, it seems really weird as such. The only exception is of course, the most recent game, Tokyo 2020 Olympics, because sadly to tell you, for Dry Bowser fans, Dry Bowser is not going to be appeared or as a playable character anymore in Tokyo 2020, because it might get some confusion when it comes to likely for, God knows, okay, it did manage to went straight through him right there, so yeah, I guess I'll take it. I'm pretty sure that ice hockey will be pretty easy compared to its curling counterparts, in my opinion, just because, you know, again, we're going to be using the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo, because otherwise, with Wii Remote sideways though, it will be pretty tricky to be able to control it, because, you know, with directional pad in mind, especially noticeable if you want to go for diagonal movements and stuff, yeah, that's far from potential for this point, Daffy, that's far from potential. So anyways though, another thing we'd like to discuss upon while this event or this match will happen is the fact that recently that Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, specifically in the Americans release I'm assuming, the actual rating on that specific film is actually related to as parental guidance, in this case PG. I really don't know if that gets the same rating as in our country at this point, but then again, we'll find out in the beginning of February at some point. Alright, so here we go on the second and the final period, because I'm pretty sure that despite we can able to actually beat these guys down, or to be more specifically, oh okay, there we go then. Yeah, anyway though, we can potentially try to able to beat the other players, specifically Dry Bones and all that, so that we can able to do it no problem. I believe in order to get a great rating, specifically for 4 points, is that I'm pretty darn sure that you have to get like 4 points compared to the other team, because if you let one of those teams get 1 point or more, the more you get less chance to able to get yourselves the great rating and stuff. So looks like Dry Bowser is getting stunned a little bit. So yeah, I guess that makes it a little bit obvious for that rate. So okay, so come on, get that plank, come on. Okay, there we go, and oh, that's so close. Oh, okay. Hopefully we can able to build up of our special shot chance and stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No. Oh, I don't think so. Alright. What the? Huh? What happened there? Let me see that again, because I know this is something weird as well. Let's take a look. Oh my god, that plank just managed to able to move on itself onto that goalie right there. Oh, that is so amazing. That is such an amazing achievement at the end. Although I really don't think we can get ourselves the emblem for that Picklers to deserve that, but seriously, hello? Anyway, looks like we did manage to beat Dry Bowser, so hey, at least we managed to conquer it though. And even though after all, that Dry Bowser is going to be able to chasing after his millions, basically. So either way, still once again we got 4 points, just like the normal ice hockey event, so nothing different from here, and plus because we don't get an emblem for that. So there we go, guys. Day 16 has been fully completed, so no interruptions from here. And now, we are now jumping on to the final day, the closing ceremony. So during the closing ceremony, it tells us how much medals that we've got, such as we got 1 silver medal and quite a lot of gold medals and no bronze medals somehow. So yeah, that's pretty good, despite with the very close game in the forms of curling, because we lost by that stupid 1 point. And during the dream events, we got quite a few first place medals and only 1 third place medal, despite we had a terrible time in dream gliding. And finally, the amount of points we got about, well, we'll find out until whenever we see it, but we got ourselves 265 points, which honestly, because I think most other players will not catch up to us. So, you know, once you reach to the top of the actual leaderboard, or specifically the first place leaders, stuff like this, we get ourselves a nice little scene where one of your playable characters holds the trophy. So, glorious how that can be. And after that, then obviously it takes us to staff credits and stuff like that, which we probably talk about that in journey forms of, well, I don't know what I'm truly saying that right now. But either way though, it is a nice little experience all in all. But then again, this entire Let's Play is not exactly over yet, because obviously we still got the second playthrough to run through, specifically the team mode or festival mode. So hopefully we'll come across into those some remaining events and some of those other dream events that we not actually come across into ourselves. So either way, because I can definitely see why that most people seem to able to go for team festival first and then singles after that. But for us though, for our own time, especially noticeable for this Let's Play in mind, we always attempt to go for the singles first and then the team version afterwards, because it makes it a little bit obvious for that simple order, specifically because of how the fact that, well, I just don't know why I truly understand for that solution about the fact that well, I don't know. But as you can see on the staff credits right there, even though, yeah, as you can see right there, it just takes us to the forms of those specific events on screenshots, and also some of these pretty cool artwork on some of these characters during those specific events, such as, well, Peach is going to be doing some skating and stuff, like she was trying to perform figure skating and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess there's not much we can able to talk about this at this point, because despite the fact that tomorrow is going to be super exciting all in all. So yeah, I must admit though, for this point guys, we really do apologize for the forms of that specific timing onto that specific uploading schedules, but that again, we'll go back to its normal routes as close as possible during the forms of on Friday. And, you know, relatively speaking, we actually managed to go on for those videos for quite some time at this rate now. But then again, we'll find out in journey forms of, well, I don't know why I truly explained that right now, because then again, there's not much else we can able to talk about this, sadly, because, well, we've already explained about the forms of, how exciting we are for tomorrow's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate event right now. And in fact, we actually did manage to play that game on our own time for a bit. So just in case we can able to gather ourselves some more spirits and all that stuff, just for the sake of clarity for just trying to able to actually complete the actual main thing or something like that, Although, the only thing we cannot probably do, Piglet, is of course the New Game Plus, because we don't feel like going for all that, same matches again, because we're perfectly fine with, the main normal game as it is on, World of Light, so... yeah, you probably get the idea for that solution, because, you know, otherwise you get yourselves all these characters from the get-go, as well as some spirits from the get-go, but it's just that, well... New Game Plus is not my kind of thing or anything like that, it's not my cup of tea or anything like that. Or kind of think about it, we have not actually seen that particular image in the background. Well, not curling, but the ones previously they used with Donkey Kong with his hockey stick and stuff. I don't think we've actually been to that specific location before. It could be something related to one of those dream events probably, for mainly ice hockey and stuff. But then again, we'll come across into one of those events that we have not seen before during the Team Festival. So either way though, relatively speaking, we're very glad that we actually got back into this game again because, you know, still, this is one of our favorite installments of the entire series of the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games franchise. Because despite with some ups and downs during the films of the actual series, most notably with Sochi 2014's motion control issues, and as well as lack of content on Rio 2016, as well as shorter amount of events they've got in Rio 2016, because you know, compared to recently in Tokyo 2020, they're at least able to actually add some new or more events than Rio 2016 has to offer, and also in the previous games that we actually got tons of events, especially noticeable in the original game in Beijing 2008, because we got multiple like track events as well as field events and stuff like that for that nature. But either way though, let's not get ahead of ourselves for comparing for the sake of time. So, but anyways though, I think we should probably end things off here. So join us until on Friday for more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. It's that we're about to start doing the Team Festival mode, and it should be pretty exciting. Especially noticeable how you can select these different characters at this point now. So yeah, see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.